Hi, everyone, and welcome to Co-Trend Watch, where we go behind the headlines of Co and dive into the trends that are shaping how entrepreneurs do business across America. I'm Sierra McGibbon, and I'm back with my colleague Barbara Thau for our next episode. Hi, Barbara. I'm so excited to be back with you again.
Hi, C. I'm so glad to be here with you.
So, today we're going to dive into three top trends that we've recently highlighted on Co. We'll be looking at how they're shaping the broader business landscape, as well as what they mean for small businesses. Do you want to kick us off with a short overview of these three trends?
Yes, so the headlines speak to these growth opportunities for small businesses. We're going to dive into how brands both big and small are leveraging the online discussion platform Reddit for growth and driving business, and they're actually driving business on Reddit. How AI is leveling the beauty industry playing field for small brands with big lessons for all businesses. And then how three consumer brand founders pivoted and expanded by growing in business to business channels. So those are the three trends we're going to dive into.
Love it. So let's start with the Reddit trend, which I find super fascinating because Reddit has since become this huge marketing machine when, for the longest time, it was mainly known as an online message board. So tell me a little bit more about how that transformation has really come to be.
I know it's exactly that. It's a really what I think of it as it emerged as this unlikely but super effective marketing channel for businesses large and small. We're talking Jack Daniels to a tree care services small business company that people will be thinking about more during the holidays. And there's this big business opportunity because small businesses are actually tapping into Reddit's massive audience. So what's that audience? That audience is 110 million active daily users, 100,000 active communities who are having these unfiltered peer-to-peer insider conversations on everything from classic film noir to the best AI productivity tools. The difference between Reddit and other marketing channels is that it's not a marketing channel. It's a no spin zone where people go for useful informations. And what the opportunity for businesses is, they're injecting themselves into these authentic conversations, and they are building credibility and they're building discoverability.
Right. So I found that super interesting too in the story how I think it was Tree Amigos, how they shared how a customer found them through a ChatGPT search. So it's
Yep.
coming out that, Reddit content is showing up in AI search.
Absolutely. To your point about Tree Amigos, I keep on wanting to say Three Amigos, not the movie, the tree care business. It is. So this was interesting. The founder is an arborist. Am I saying that right? A tree expert. He started to post helpful content on tree care. Fast forward where he built this sort of reputation on Reddit and landed four big accounts for free. Then in addition to that, he built that credibility, so his business was coming up in Google, coming up in AI platforms, and Tree Amigos and search results. So really building that business, not hardcore promotional, just
Hmm.
by being a useful source. He landed big clients.
Right, which I was going to ask you about that. So, businesses that are looking to drive engagement on Reddit, they need to be aware that Reddit really discourages like the typical self-promotion, ad like salesy type of content. So, the way that he built his credibility, kind of authentically like that is an important thing to note.
And I totally forgot to mention that you try to be all advertising and promotional, you will incur the wrath of the Reddit moderators. That is not that's just not what you do on that site, and you will be rewarded by not selling. It's social proof, it's user-generated content, and it's authentic conversations because consumers and businesses are savvy. They have all info at their fingertips, and they want to hear from trusted communities that don't have an agenda, no spin.
All right, so I'm going to segue into our second trend, which is about how AI is transforming the beauty industry. And it's not just for the big names, but for the small and emerging brands too. So tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. It's amazing, and it's a wonderful case study in how the little engines that could in any industry. So we all know that AI, we can do stuff in minutes that would take days and weeks, PowerPoint presentations, social media posts. What I want to zero in on is what's remarkable about what's happening in the beauty industry, where you have these titans in the world of beauty that has actionable lessons for all businesses, is that you're seeing these indie brands now compete with industry giants by using AI for processes. What key processes? Product development, marketing campaigns, analyzing trends quickly, and making profitable merchandising decisions, bypassing these giant, expensive, big data solutions. And there's both customer facing examples and then also operational examples.
Right, which I found this article was chock full of all of these things that I didn't even think about because as a consumer, I've used AI on websites to like help me find my perfect shade for foundation, which actually worked very well, by the way, and I was so surprised by
I
that.
have to try it.
Um, but also I learned through this article, like what you just said, like there are companies that are using AI to help them suggest ingredients for their products or, helping them do their pricing strategies or things that I think formerly would have taken whole teams of people and many meetings to do, they're now using AI and doing it, in much less time, more efficiently maybe, I don't know.
Absolutely. So what comes to mind is a very serial beauty entrepreneur, David Chung, who is founder of a brand called Pharmacy with an F and the Rootis, and he's using AI software literally to come up with the right product ingredients for a skincare line. He's also using it to craft storytelling, to do marketing, and going up against the marketing budgets of these giant brands. More importantly, what's the result? The result for him has been AI started to do the work of expensive marketing consultants quickly and efficiently, democratizing the playing field for small businesses. A perfect example of it. Aim with the big guys.
I'm sure that, with AI doing all of these things and being wonderful in so many aspects, we're not the only people who have been like, okay, well, what can't AI do? Am I going to be out of a job? So what role do you think that the human touch plays in all of this still?
I think that's a great question, and I think that's been the interesting thing is that AI has also freed up businesses to provide the human touch, to lean into the human touch. There's a reason why at retail, you would think that most stores are done most shopping is done online. That's not the case. Most shopping is done in store. Technology, and that is statistically accurate, and technology will aid the purchase, but often the actual site of the purchase is in store. Always keep that in mind. What can I do with technology to free me up for those human interactions? Because we're seeing experiences drive business also, and in store and in real life.
So I think that's the perfect segue into our third trend because with AI helping business owners save time on a lot of tasks, I think it's also opening up space for them to innovate, evolve, and pivot. And that's what the brands in this next story have done. Because they're typically B2C brands, but they've found success and growth through selling through B2B sales. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Brands that sell to consumers are now unlocking new revenue streams by selling to businesses and finding a way to scale. So why does that matter? This is a way to literally multiply customer access and scale in ways we haven't seen before. And we're seeing this across businesses.
So the article talked about a few different companies and the way that they did this in their own unique ways. So there's Curious Elixirs
Yeah.
and there's Ergata and there's the Fruit Guys. So tell us a little bit about, what each company did, how they, honed their own personal strengths, how they got creative with things and how they were able to do that.
There's a non-alcoholic brand, big, huge growing category called Curious Elixirs. They expanded from selling directly to consumers to three other bigger B2B channels. Restaurants, iconic nightclubs like the Blue Note New York, wholesale wine distributors. The result was sales this year on track to be up 20% to 20 million thanks to his B2B business. And then you mentioned different industries, right? So fitness, so interesting. A brand called Orgata. They would sell connected rowing machines with gaming content. These guys were selling their rowers online, and they said, you know what? We're never going to scale. That was their vision, to scale big, selling direct to consumer one rower at a time. What did they do? They pivoted. They started to hustle and reach out to complementary businesses like Peloton, big businesses. It was a game changer. The return on investment for them is their B2B business is now larger than their consumer business.
And I found that one super interesting because, I mean, on their face, like Ergata, Peloton, and Nordic Track are all kind of competitors, but they
Competitors,
were
right?
able to, yeah, build something together, which, was so interesting.
Absolutely, finding that thing that they had, the je ne sais quoi that only they had, that they could offer, and recognizing that.
So, what does this tell us about how B2B businesses need to keep evolving to stay relevant?
So let's say B2C, business to consumers, when you're selling directly to a consumer, think about, are you in wellness? Are you in hospitality? Are you in retail? And you look for complementary businesses to partner with. Look to those as a way to scale and to unlock a new revenue stream.
Well, I think that's the perfect inspiring note to leave us off on with this episode. So, for those tuning in, you can check out all of these articles and trends on Co. And I just want to say thank you, Barbara, for doing this with me again.
Oh, thank you, Sierra. It's always a pleasure.